I did say this is complicated, and here's one more complication. When you sell shares of equity to angels or VCs, it is not a simple swap of money for shares. There are a bunch of more terms that get added into the contract. In fact, there's a term for this. Those investors are buying preferred shares, right? So you and your co-founders, you own common shares. They're buying preferred shares, and they're preferred because they have a bunch of preferences on them. And I'm not going to go into great detail on all these, but let me just give you a few highlights. So one of the common preferences is that they have the right to sit on your board of directors. They have a board seat. And it may be one board seat or two board seats, but they're going to now control your company via the board. Keep that in mind. So as soon as you take in an investor, you're not only giving up a percentage ownership, you're starting to give up control of your company. Right? There really isn't any way around that. They have their money at stake and they want to make sure it's well managed. Second on this list is they may have approval for specific actions, right? Approval as in they get to decide when you hire certain people into your company. Approval may in fact be they have the right to decide who the CEO of the company is, and they may decide in the future that it is not you. Happens a lot. They may also have approvals for any expense over a certain amount. So you'll see a list of approvals and they'll be listed out in the deal, in the term sheet as they call it. Next one on the list is liquidation preferences. What this means is that if the company gets sold, the investors get their capital returned first before the rest of the capital is shared amongst everyone else. So this is very important. Let me explain this one more time. If the investor gave you $200,000 and had a one-time liquidation preference on that, and it doesn't really matter how much percentage they bought for that, if you then sold your company for $1 million, that investor gets $200,000 from the $1 million first. Doesn't matter what percentage they own, they get their money back, and then their shares are whatever the percentage of the remaining $800,000 is. So that's the value. So that is why there's so many 1Xs on that VC list, because they always ask for liquidation preferences. It's normal. Don't fret over it. It's just the way it works. A few more on here you might see would be right of first refusal, right to continue investing, to keep their percentage ownership. There's a whole lot of preferences that are common these days. The internet will explain them in great detail, especially as they get added on. More and more of these get added on each year or two or decade at least. So go, as you see a term sheet, if you see a term in there that you don't understand, even if you've seen this lecture, I highly advise A, go on the internet and get an explanation from Wikipedia or elsewhere, and B, make sure you have a good lawyer on your side to help walk you through what each of these means to you.